Welcome, traveler.
There is a story of a haunting that horrified its protagonists and victims so indelibly that the story is recounted and repackaged to this day, over 200 years later. Poltergeists are, without a doubt, a staple of the quintessential ghost movie. Nowadays, we commonly see them in action in films like Paranormal Activity, The Conjuring, and even the eponymous Poltergeist franchise. But let's talk about the best and most recognizable of all, the legend of the Bell Witch. John Bell was the patriarch of the 19th century Bell family, son of North Carolina residents William Bell and Anne Jones. He married a fellow local named Lucy Williams in the year 1782. The two started a family and eventually settling in the small town of Adams, Tennessee in 1804, with their children Jesse, Drury, Benjamin, Richard Williams, Joel Egbert, John Jr., Zadok, Esther, and Elizabeth. But what could have been a quiet life changed a little over a decade later when a bunch of disturbances occurred in the home of John Bell. Then the hauntings started, with weird sudden noises such as knocking on doors, pounding on walls, and gnawing on furniture. Soon it was followed with the sound of chains being dragged across the floor. And before long, the family found themselves in the company of unidentifiable creatures that at times resembled dogs, and other times rabbits. One said encounter prompted Bell to shoot at the animal, but to his surprise, it mysteriously vanished. Drew Bell, one of John's sons, also saw an extraordinarily large bird once on their property. Even the slaves of the Bell family seem to have had their share of hauntings. In fact, a servant named Dean said that on more than a few occasions, a headless black wolf or dog followed him on his way to see his wife. At one point, he even claimed to be transformed into a mule, chased by a witch, and caused him to always carry an axe with him, along with a charm made by his wife to protect him from whatever evil is lurking in the Bell's farm at night. Nevertheless, it was John's daughter Elizabeth, more commonly known as Betsy, that first saw a figure that looked more human-like rather than animal. And outside the Bell's home, there was an oak tree. This is where Betsy allegedly witnessed a girl swinging from the branches, dressed in all green. It was around this time that things quickly took a turn for the worse. John Bell began showing signs of paralysis in his mouth. On top of that, the paranormal events intensified, causing the family to experience torture right before their eyes. Beddings were pulled off, skin was scratched, hair was yanked, and in the middle of all the torment was Betsy, who suffered the worst among the family, enduring long nights of abuse until her body was covered in bruises. After some time, the purported witch finally revealed her voice, even saying that she is a spirit that was once very happy but has been disturbed. With this information, John Bell decided to ask for the help of his longtime friend, James Johnston, to which the man agreed. During the evening of his stay at the Bell's residence, he immediately experienced the haunting firsthand. This completely convinced Johnston that all the disruption was indeed caused by a spirit, the likes he had previously read about in the Bible. Soon, the supposed witch haunting the Bell family became the talk of the town. People all across the southern states started traveling in hopes of seeing the Bell Witch with their own eyes. Among the curious was future U.S. President Andrew Jackson. At the time, he was still in the military, and under him served 3 of John Bell's oldest sons. Because of that, the news of the Bell Witch haunting ultimately reached him. Intrigued by the alleged paranormal occurrence, Jackson and his troupe went to investigate and see it for themselves. But just as they arrived, the witch wasted no time taunting them, even holding their carriage wheels still, scaring Jackson and his men away for good. Though the Bell Witch was never known to be one-dimensionally evil, it is believed that John Bell's wife Lucy was particularly favored by the witch. Accounts say that the Bell Witch once explicitly said that Lucy was the most perfect living woman. Moreover, it was claimed to have sung her to sleep and even cared for her on days when she was sick. Similarly, John Jr. was also allegedly respected to a degree by the Bell Witch. That is, despite him calling the entity the spirit of the damned. And while it was Betsy and the family slaves that suffered the most of the beating and torture from the wrath of the Bell Witch, John Bell Sr. remained its ultimate target. It is said that the Bell Witch had always been hell-bent on killing the patriarch of the family, and she has repeatedly signified his intention through curses, threats, and afflictions, until the 20th of December 1820, the day John Bell tragically met his end. The scariest part of the story is that John Bell's passing wasn't due to natural causes. His son allegedly found a vial of dark liquid right before his death, and it is told that the Bell Witch laughed and revealed that it was the poison she used to kill John Bell in his sleep. Angered and skeptical, the family tried to know the truth by letting their cat drink some of the supposed poison, and to their regret, it immediately died. The Bell Witch continued mocking them, and in a fit of frustration, the son threw the vial, along with its contents, into the fire, which then burst into blue flames. A few days later, at Bell's funeral, the witch sang bawdy songs, disrupting the mourners several times, celebrating the rather grievous occasion. During the time of the hauntings, it was noted that the Bell Witch expressed particular animosity toward Betsy Bell's engagement to a man named Joshua Gardner. Oftentimes, this would be the witch's motive for tormenting Betsy. Unwilling to suffer any further, in 1821, a few weeks after her father's passing, Betsy decided to finally break off the engagement once and for all. With the wedding called off and John Bell dead, the hauntings gradually ceased. The Bell Witch eventually bade a goodbye, though she vowed to return after 7 years, and she did. In 1828, similar activities started again, but with Lucy and her remaining children not paying much attention to it, the Bell Witch haunting slowly quieted down. To this day, the legend of the Bell Witch lives on as a southern state's greatest paranormal mystery. And while the original house of the Bell family has already been torn down, the area in which most of the disturbances took place remains a point of interest to people from all over the world, paying visits, hoping to experience even a moment of the age-old fear caused by the infamous Bell Witch. Thank you for taking this journey with us into darkness. This is Lore Thrill, and my name is Sid Myers. Let us know your favorite haunting in the comments below. Sleep tight.